The ASICS GlideRide Max 2 and the Novablast 5 look very similar, but there's actually 6 key differences between them, whether using them as a lifestyle shoe, for running, or for medical conditions. I'll break down the differences so you've a better idea of which one's best for you at the end of the video. So first of all, if we look at the cushioning on the GlideRide Max 2, it's got a dual blended cushioning, so it's got two different types. So on top, you've got the FF Blast Max, which is what we see throughout the whole cushioning of the Novablast 5, but it then has an EVA plate, so a form of plastic plate that runs through it, and then the more common FF Blast Plus cushioning, which is a little bit softer, and you sink into it a little bit more compared to the bouncy, springy FF Blast Max cushioning. And then there's even more cushioning overall on the GlideRide Max 2 compared to the Novablast. So we have 44 mils in the rear foot, 38 in the forefoot, giving you a 6 mil difference from the back to the front of the shoe. In contrast to that, in the Novablast 5, there's 41.5 in the rear foot, 33.5 in the forefoot, giving you an 8 mil drop versus the 6 mil drop in the GlideRide. And I'll talk about how that influences what it feels like on the foot later on. But first, I wanted to talk about the fit and the geometry of the shoe on top. So we've got a slightly wider fit in the toe box on the GlideRide Max, whereas we've got a relatively narrow fit in the Novablast 5, and it can be a little bit difficult to find the wide version of this depending on what country you're in. They're true to size and length, but there's a little bit more toe spring, so where the shoe curves upward in the GlideRide Max, which can make it feel a little bit shorter, but actually it's a true to size and length for me. It's a bit more of a breathable new engineered mesh on top of the GlideRide Max versus what we see on the Novablast 5. So if you want a bit more breathability, then you look towards the GlideRide Max. And we've lost the pull-on tab on the tongue on the GlideRide Max. It's still there on the Novablast, whereas we still have the external pull-on tabs on both of the shoes. We have a little bit more stability features on the Novablast 5, so you can see we've got large sidewalls on the outside and the inside of the heel versus the smaller ones in the GlideRide Max 2. And we've got more sole flare on the Novablast 5, and especially in the forefoot, compared to the GlideRide Max, and that's where the sole comes out wider than where your foot sits in the shoe, adding more stability to the shoe, especially in the forefoot. So how do these differ whether you're using them for lifestyle or running? Well, a couple of things on this. In terms of day-to-day use, well, the GlideRide Max 2 is an excellent option for daily walking, for standing for long periods of time. If you are standing for longer periods, you may not like the fact that it tilts you back and forth a bit more due to the more aggressive nature of the forefoot rocker. However, it's still a viable option. The Novablast 5 can be used for lifestyle use, but it's really more of a running shoe. And when think about running, they're both excellent shoes for eating up the miles, for easy runs, longer runs, daily runs. They cover all of your bases with that. And although the GlideRide Max 2 is substantially lighter than its predecessor, coming in at 261 grams for a size 9 men's US, it's still 6 grams heavier than what we get in the Novablast 5. Now, the difference in the midsole, so we've got two different types of midsoles in the GlideRide Max, whereas we've got the really bouncy trampoline effect one in the Novablast 5, which makes it a perfect shoe for kind of those up-tempo workouts, especially for half marathon to full marathon distance. Now, we can do some early stage up-tempo workouts in the GlideRide Max, but it's just not as bouncy or springy as what we get in the Novablast 5. So a little bit faster, lighter of a shoe in the Novablast 5, but to be honest, there's not a huge difference between them now thanks to the lighter weight and the more aggressive geometry in the more recent GlideRide Max 2. There's also another factor, which is the extra stiffness in the forefoot rocker in the GlideRide Max 2, so if you're looking for a daily shoe for hallux rigidus, osteoarthritis of the big toe joint, then this can be an excellent option for you. But I hope that's helped make your decision. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching.